Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Beer 30 Beer Reviews with me, your host, Big Dub. Today we're going to talk about aging beers at home. Now this isn't making your own beer, barrel aging it, but this is beers that you have bought that can age well over years, sometimes 1 year, two, up to decades. It's crazy, but there are some beers that it benefits, and I'll explain why, which style of beers, and so on. Reason being, right here in front of us, we have from Firestone Walker, their 2019 Parabola, one of their vintage Imperial Stouts. So this beer is actually aged for almost 2 whole years now. It comes out early. And then over here, we have from Boulevard, their Rye on Rye. It's another style of beer that can be aged. Now you're asking, why? I just bought the beer. Why would I go ahead and age it? Well, over time, the bitterness in some beers, it will mellow. The hop aromatics will slowly fade, and that biting alcohol sometimes will soften. The malt flavors will mild and become actually more complex, highlighting flavors such as the molasses, sherry, dark fruits, chocolate, and bread, and actually bringing a lot more character and actually helping the beer actually reach its prime. Sometimes the beer takes time to hit its prime. You gotta let it sit, and there's different style of beers that it works best for. Those styles are more your high ABV, normally above 8%. You know, your barley wines, your imperial stouts, strong ales, Belgian quads, stuff like that. So both beers right here you see in front of me would be great ones to go ahead and age over time. Explain how and time here in a little bit, but let's go ahead and crack it open. We'll start with Boulevard's Rye on Rye. We're looking at a whiskey barrel aged with maple syrup. So let's see if that maple syrup does come out. Had a few beers over the winter here with maple syrup, and some have really crushed it. You can smell it very strongly and taste it right on the palate. Almost tastes like eating pancakes sometimes. So there's the color. It's actually a little clearer than I thought it would be. Kind of an amber color to it, not as thick as I thought. Not getting too much of the maple syrup. Alright, when you do swallow it down, the maple syrup flavor does sit on the tongue. It's not biting at all. It's not very hard alcohol-wise. I mean, this beer's sitting at 13.2%, and I'm shocked that it tastes and feels like a lot lower ABV count. It's very mild up front, a little sweetness. Little of the whiskey barrel up front is what you're getting, and then that maple syrup kind of comes in. It's a much better, smoother, easier drinking beer than I thought it would ever be. I thought it'd be kind of hard, that'd be biting. I thought that high ABV would really punch you, but you could not tell that it might be above a 7% style beer. So well done, Boulevard, on that one. That's rather delicious. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on that. If you are looking for something that is higher ABV, but it doesn't bite like a lot of higher ones does, go for this. It's really easy, very smooth to drink. Now again, you're asking, why would I go ahead and age a beer, and how would I go about doing it? Well, you do want to store it standing up. A lot different than when you do aging wine. You know, with wine, you want to set it a little sideways, make sure the cork stays wet so it doesn't dry out. Beer, you want to let it age as it's sitting up. That way the sediment can settle down to the bottom of the beer itself. You want to age it in a darker spot. You don't want light really hitting it. Light over time can really skunk a beer. So if you're aging it, make sure it's kind of in a dark spot where either sunlight and house light really aren't hitting it and affecting the flavor and actually making the beer worse. As well, ideal temp is about 50 to 60 degrees. You don't want to change it too much throughout there. You don't want to go in highs and lows. Try to find a place that's a little lower humidity as well. That way it doesn't really change too much of the complex of the beer itself. And don't agitate the beer. Once you have it where it's going to be, just let it sit there. Don't keep checking it, moving it around. Just let it be. Let it do what it's going to do, and enjoy it a couple years down the road. All right. Been excited about this one. Heard a lot of good things. This is one, again, that I was able to get thanks to my brother. So thank you, Taylor. Nice little Christmas gift here. So Firestone Walker's 2019 Parabola Imperial Stout. So this is one of their vintage. They let it age and before they even put it out too. So much darker color. As you can see there, it's almost tar black colorish. Really tough to see through. It's kind of what you expect with Imperial Stout. Get molasses right on the nose, right up front. Little hint of coffee as well. Alright, that is actually much smoother again than I thought. It does punch a lot stronger than this. They are sitting basically right around the same ABV. You can definitely tell this is a higher ABV. As you can hear, Wrigley enjoys this one as well, as he's yelling for more in the background there. But it starts with a really smooth mouthfeel with hints of chocolate, some caramel flavor notes there. You get the taste of the bourbon as well as the barrels that it's been sitting in. You can get that. Then the back end, you get a little chocolate and more coffee flavor. So that's actually really good. I'm going to 8 out of 10 on that one. Now, as I talked about, time frame to age it. I mean, each beer is going to be a little different. It's going to hit its prime at different times, but generally speaking, you're looking at 2 years to maybe about 10 years. Some will age quicker than others. Say hi, bud. He's aged nicely so far. We'll see how he continues to age. He hasn't hit his prime yet. I bet you this one could still age a little bit better and really increase and bring out that molasses, that sherry, and the chocolate flavors. This one is another one you could let sit and let age, and I bet you the flavors that come with the maple syrup would pull out more, and you'd get a little bit more out of it. So that's the reason for aging beers at home. If you can find multiples of the same beer, let them sit. Try one after one. Try one after 2 years. A lot of people do that with the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. I have a couple from this year that are sitting and aging. I'm going to let go, and we'll see how they go year after year. But experiment, have fun with it. Try some right away. Take notes and see what changes over time. Until next time, cheers. Remember to subscribe, like, hit the bell, get those notices. Bryce, you want to say anything?
Better.
And he said you better do it. Cheers.